All right, so let's go on and get started.
Welcome to Dr. Harris Live, and with your queen, Dr. Anton, CEO of the YPP Entertainment Community. Queens of America, she teaches you to deal with the slaves and mentality, and let you become the kings and queens of the world. Everything, not religiously, but spiritually. Dr. Harris Live.
Hey, it's your girl, Dr. Harris Live, and friends here at BPU Radio. Today is March the 10th, Saturday. It is about 3 p.m. The weather in Georgia right now is fair. They say that it's going to rain, but, I believe it when I see it. We have a very special show. It's not going to be a long show, but it's going to be very special. Hey, Dee Dee, thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Mark. Hey, Danielle, thank you so much for tuning in. And we have some very special guests in the house. One is here from another part of Georgia, a few hours away. And then we have one that's here all the way from New York. And these are people that have supported me from day one. So we have in the house, who is an author, Miss Ann, turn your mic around so that we can hear you very well. We have in the house Miss Ann Renfroe. Hey, Miss Ann. Let me tell you a little bit about Miss Ann. Ever since I started doing Dr. Harris Live, Miss Ann and I started corresponding on Facebook. Since then, Miss Ann has been not only one of my #1 supporters, but she's done things for me that she didn't have to do and never seen me. We just met each other for the first time face to face today. However, she still supported me and still looked out for me on several occasions just because she believed in what I'm doing. And so, first of all, publicly, I want to thank you not only for that, but also thank you for being a listening ear at times when I needed to vent, being, someone that just kept encouraging me, because everybody always expects the encouragement to come from me, not understanding that I need that encouragement as well. So I want to tell you publicly, I love you, girl. You're just as beautiful in person as you are over the web. And I'm just looking forward to doing the things together that we can do to make a difference. And then we have another special guest in the house, and that is Mr. Thomas Price, all the way from New York, Queens, New York. And Mr. Price has a lot of background, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself as well. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and play a song, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start our interview. The thing is, teamwork makes the dream work and love makes the difference. And I want you to know that I love you guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's true. I'm going to make you do wrong, make you do right. Something going wrong. Someone dropped my phone. 3 o'clock in the morning. Talking about how she can make it right. Happiness when you really feel good. Somebody, there's nothing wrong. Being in love with someone, yeah. Oh, baby, all that I have to Lord, Hey, Wayne Denton, thank you so much for joining in. Christine Focus Washington, hey girl, I'll see you in a minute. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Thank you so much.
Stay out all night long.
All right, that is Love and Happiness with Mr. Al Green. When are we going to get back to love and happiness? When are we going to get back to family values and family morals and all of the things that's necessary in order to see our communities and our families and our businesses change? All right. Thank you, Mr. Al Green. And back to our interview. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the world and tell them who you are, where you're from, and why you're here today.
Well, like you were saying, I had a little chat the other day, and you said, "Wow, Miss Ann, why should you hold all of that information to yourself? When God give you things, you just share it." Mm-hmm. So that's what He do. He give us insight, how we can better our lives, or what have you. And the reason why I wrote the book is, first, my name is Ann Renfroe. Okay. I didn't need to get carried away.
No problem.
Ann Renfroe, and I'm an author, and I was inspired by God to write this book, and I did it. It took me some time because it wasn't an easy book where you can just go and do research and get it over with. I had to go through a lot of life experiences, and then wait, after you experience certain things, you don't understand what is really taking place. Then you got to wait on God for answers, or wait for Him to send some type of confirmation, because it's like when you know, when it comes that way, nothing no one can do to take the truth from you when you find out and bump your head long enough to say, wow, I did it, but how? And then your soul look back and wonder how you made it over. And with that type of experience that I wrote about my life, it's about light versus darkness. Mm-hmm. And the light, I had an encounter with light as well as I had with darkness. And the light was just something I couldn't find the words to put into the book to explain it, mm-hmm. because it was God. It was God, a light that came and revealed me of who I am, mm-hmm. And I didn't know these qualities about myself until I saw myself for the first time.
Mm-hmm. So it was like an epiphany that you had about who you are individually.
Because I never knew growing up. I said, oh my God, everybody know what it is they want to do. What like with me, I'm like wondering, what do I want? Who am I? But mm-hmm. when that light came as an adult, not as a child or teenager or young adult, and later life, it was shown to me that I, was just special, and I had qualities that I wasn't aware of. And my greatest quality was to love,
Wow.
And the love that I carried and still carries inside of my heart it just wants to help all, you know, and to reach out. And we all have that quality, those qualities. I don't care how bad a person is in life, it's still some good.
Now, if there was something that you could quote out of your book, out of this whole entire, how many pages is this?
It's about 240.
Yeah, like 242 pages, or 243 pages. If you could quote something out of this book that you felt that would make a difference to someone, even if they haven't read it, but just something that's inside of this book that would bring a person to the light, in your memory of writing this book, what would it be?
To know thyself. To know thyself.
What is knowing thyself to you?
Getting in tune with you, as you have to go inside of yourself to find really yourself, because that's where everything is at within us, who you are and what you want in life. A lot of times, if you go inside of you, you know exactly where I'm supposed to be and where I'm supposed to go, but you got to know how to get in tune with yourself. And so knowing yourself and your culture, who you are as a people, you know, and we come together and help one another. This is what God requires for us to do, is to love ourselves. We can't love no one else until we truly love ourselves.
Amen. So let me ask you this. How long did it take for you to write Transitioning Soul Crides of Troubled Hearts? By the way, y'all, this is a book, and where can I get this book at?
You can go to my website at authorannrenfroe.com.
Okay, that's www.authorannrenfroe, that's RENFROE.com, where you can go and get her book, Transitioning Soul Crides of Troubled Hearts. And how long did it take for you to write this book?
Well, it was up at one time, but I took it down and pulled it out because there was a lot of other things I had to have more enlightenment of, and I didn't have it at that time. So I was saying all 20 years. 20, yeah. And it wasn't easy because the things I wrote about supernatural events and experiences that occurred in my life. And that's not something easy to explain, because dealing with another world on a different plane, you know, you hear on a natural plane, but a lot of times we experience things that it doesn't click, you know, and then you look into it and you say, wow, God is a part of this. It's learning spirituality of who you are, you know, with God, your closeness and connection with God. Because a lot of times we can say that we love God, but our heart is so far away.
Yes, ma'am.
You know? And
now let me read just a little something out of this book. It starts at the Hooks community. This is page 82. It says, finally the day had arrived when my mother didn't wish to live on the Renfroe's old home any longer. My dad had a new house built in a quiet community called Hooks, and for the most part, we all enjoyed living there. There was an elderly lady who lived next door to us. She was kind and loving. We called her Mother Hooks. I adored her. What does that portion of your book mean to you?
That's when my first seed of faith was planted through that lady. My first seed of faith. I had a toothache, and this toothache was so harsh. I fell out. I fainted from the toothache. My sister found me laying in the floor in the kitchen, and I was out cold. And the only thing I could hear in the background was my mother was saying, "Run and go get Mother Hooks," and that's her.
Okay, and that's really weird. Out of all of the pages of the book, that's the one that got open.
She came and put her hands on my face, and I woke up, and tooth never hurt it again.
Oh, wow. Where's Mother Hooks at? I need a Mother Hooks in my life. Now, let's go ahead and bring in Mr. Thomas Price. Mr. Price, who are you?
Good evening. I'm here in support of you because I really like your work and I like your concept, and as well as Miss Renfroe. We've been friends for a while, and we talk about certain things, a lot of different things, and we really both. I think we both feel the same way about. You had Al Green saying love and happiness.
Yes,
love does bring happiness, and we don't if we as a people can't get back to loving each other, we really have, and we can see it every day, we really having more and more problems because you do have people out here who could care less if you don't make it, or if you're not being able to win the way you're supposed to. We can do this. We can do it. All the way from here to Mother Africa, we can really do what we need to do. And I'm so happy to see a lot of the leaders in Africa is beginning to move in that direction, and it just gives our young people another view of who we really are and what we have and what we have, on the motherland as a people. And we can just bring it right here in Georgia or New York or Boston or wherever, and use those same
a worldwide situation.
Absolutely, and it's all about love.
It is, and God is love, and that's what people have to understand. That's why you hear it all the time. Teamwork makes the dream work, but no, it can't stop there, and that's why I always add and love makes the difference, because God is love, and that's what makes the difference of understanding how we as a people have to understand who we are, but also understand that just because somebody else was raised differently culturally, it doesn't make them separate from us. No, it just means that they were raised in another culture. It also means that they have to be enlightened to who their creator is to them. And it has to be individual. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. We go to church and we look for, hey, Danielle, thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, John Jones, thank you for tuning in. Amber Fouch, all of you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Dr. Harris Live. We have a special guest in the house today, Miss Ann Renfroe and Mr. Thomas Price. Now, Mr. Price, you are from Queens, New York, correct?
Yes, I lived there and I've been living there, pretty much biggest part of my life.
Where were you originally born?
Born in Maryland.
Oh, okay, so from up north too. I'm from Ohio, so I'm familiar with the territory.
Right.
And Miss Ann, were you born here in Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, and so okay, let me ask you this question.
I lived in New York as well.
Oh, okay. So is that where you met in New York, or did you meet outside of New York?
Outside of New York.
Okay. How long did you live in New York?
Off and on, about 18, 20 years.
Oh, wow. And so you lived in New York. So going from now, usually people transition from north to south. How was it transitioning from south to north?
It was adventurous because the lights. I love the lights there in Manhattan, 42nd Times Square. And not just so much of that. At first, I was homesick when I went there. I forgot about that. And so I got homesick. And then next thing you know, I had found a job within 1 month. And so my cousin was trying to get me. I went with him. He was residing there at that time. So I was living with him. So he asked me to stay long. I said, no, I got to go back home. I miss Georgia. But after I met my boyfriend, I was ready to stay, so I was caught up there. So I stayed and got married and everything. It was nice experience. But I still always had Georgia in the back of my mind.
Yeah, because that's always home. Just like for me, Ohio was always home to me, even though I don't desire to live there anymore. Even though...
you wouldn't want to go back there?
No, I wouldn't want to go back there to live. I don't know if Georgia is my last destination, but I don't think that I would ever want to go back to Ohio.
It's nice here.
Because Ohio, and it can be nice, but the reality of it is that, this is the number one population of us folks.
Yeah.
Number one population of us millionaires, but the least race that is coming together in unity. We're divided all over the world. And in Georgia, in Georgia alone, the number one population of millionaires, but you see all of this homelessness and you see all of the poverty and you see all of the things that all reflect back to our people. And so you have to ask the question, your money is in your pocket, but when is it going to go into the communities?
Right.
Your money is in your pocket, but when is it going to help somebody to change their life? Your money is in your pockets, but when are you going to realize that, other people need help?
Right.
Because everybody don't have the chance to get to the platform that you are. But there are people that don't have to go hungry because of your platform. And when we start getting that mindset of understanding that when God bless us and it's not all about us, that is always to help another person, then we also understand the concept of unity. And so what does unity mean to you?
Well, also in one of the chapters, I experienced different time zones. God is you never can say who He is because we'll never know. We can just
The fullness, yes.
Yeah. I went to a tour of the past, and I went so far back to a time and place of slavery. And there, I think this is a lot of the reason why I'm here in Georgia today, due to that experience. Unity is about bringing out peoples, meeting your peoples, reaching out, supporting your peoples, loving them, helping them in any way, because this is what made God smile. Some way this was taken from us, where now we see so much backstabbing, negativity,
all from all angles.
That's the darkness. That's the light versus the darkness. All of the negative.
And that's really weird because I came to another page in your book on page 21. It says, I closed my eyes and leaned back into the train seat, waiting for the train to begin its descent. With the thoughts of my childhood experiences still lingering, my mind began to wander and run with the past again. After living in our home that sat on a steep hill, we finally relocated to one of a small town's communities. Once we settled into our new home, I shared one of the larger rooms with my brothers. They had one side of the room and I had the other. What was that like?
Well, actually, I was like between the ages of 3 and 4, so it was just like they were there to protect me. I felt safe. The love, the unity, that was unity as well.
But when it went back into your mind, when you start thinking about it, was there anything that tormented you, or did you only think good thoughts?
Yeah, in the darkness, you're gonna see where the little girl had an encounter with darkness as well as the light.
Wow.
The darkness was, you got to read the book. I can't get too
Yes,
much
ma'am. And I'm definitely going to read it because I there's something in this book.
It was supernatural.
That I'm going to be able to relate to in my life, and I could feel it just by touching it.
Get that? It was. I can't say this. It was all supernatural, and a 4 and 5 year old kid. What is that to me? I just knew something was there watching. So I had to face my fear later on. I think at the age of 6, I faced the fear because it had went on for a period of time where I got sick and tired, and I stood up and went to it, and I changed it. But we'll see. It's gonna connect with you.
This book will be read.
It's gonna connect to you of your dream about the ancestors. You're gonna see.
Wow. Yeah, there's something in here. I don't know what it is, but there's something in here that's identifying with my spirit, and I haven't even read the book. But this is Anne Renfroe's Transitioning Soul Cries of Troubled Hearts. You can go get this on her website. Tell them what your website is again.
www.authorannrenfroe.com.
And if you would like to call in the next 10 minutes, because we are going to be ending. And hey, Cousin Diana, thank you so much for tuning in to Dr. Harris Live, friends. The call-in number is 404-382-0417. That is 404-382-0417. You can call in, and if you have any questions for Ms. Renfroe or Mr. Thomas Price. Now, Mr. Price,
yes, ma'am.
You really didn't say much about yourself, and I'm not gonna let you get away with that, right? Just tell us some things that you've done and who you are.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm not talking about your name either. Who are you?
I'm God's child.
Okay.
No, I just pretty much raised up and grew up in a rural area of Maryland, and I just wanted you, as most people, young people do, they want to get out and see what the world is about, and I really soon found out that it was all about a struggle. And it still is about a struggle. And I went into this army and found out what that was about. And
Hey, speaking of army, would you recommend for a Black man right now to commit himself to the military for the United States? I mean, that's just off the record.
I know it's off the record. And I know a lot of people would probably take offense to what I have to say. But when you live in a country that does not respect you, does not protect you, is willing to never really, just apologize or give you some credit for what you've done in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Why should you fight for somebody, a person's country, and they never give you any respect or any regards? And we need to build for ourselves. You already said it before. We have people who's millionaires and all around this country, and we really need to start building for ourselves. We really have to take that into consideration and know that this is where we have to go if we are to survive. And that survival is to me is key, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. For me, it's from survival for myself, my children, my grandchildren, and every other African American family in the United States and around the world.
Okay. Yeah. So, the movement that God gave me is the rebirth of the Black nation.
Yes.
And the rebirth of the Black nation is an accountability, responsibility, and action movement for our people to come together in unity all over the world, regardless of their religion or their nationality. And so when you think of the rebirth of the Black nation, this year we are having the Black People Unity Festival here in Atlanta again. Okay. And it's going to be on July 21st. And then the Black I Am Awards is going to be on July the 22nd. One of the things that we have to understand is transitioning our thoughts. Black is a negative, when you look at it, when you talk about darkness, you talk about Black. When you talk about darkness, when you talk about Black, you talk about negativity. When you talk about Black, you talk about crime. But God told me that we have to start transitioning our thoughts about who we are. So he gave me the acronym, Beautiful Living Ancestors Controlling Kingdoms. That's Black. And so this year we're going to have the Black I Am Awards, which is going to honor people from all over the world that are doing great things. So if you know somebody in New York that's doing great things, in the community or that are conscious artists and, things that's trying to rebirth and rebuild who we are, then I definitely want you to let me know, because we want people from all over the world to be awarded. And we need you as one of the stones of the rock to, because the stone is a piece of the rock. So we need that piece of New York, through you and other people in New York, to let us know about people that's in New York that's doing some great things, so that we can go in and do our research and we can give honor where honor is due. We want to do it from all over the world. Absolutely. But when you think about the rebirth of Black families, which is our theme for this year, what does that mean to you, Miss Ann and Mr. Price? The rebirth of Black families. What's needed in order for that to happen?
Well, I'll just say this then. Black families, again, we have to go back to love and working out an agenda for ourselves. The male and the female has to come together in a way that we have an agenda. We understand what our job is. We have to be honest and open, and then when the young ones come along, we're on the same page. We can give them something to grow on, something to work with, and that's basically
Let me ask you a two-part question on that one, because you said something very important. The young ones.
Yes.
Now, in your time that you were growing up, things are a lot different.
Sure.
But one of the problems that I see with elders or older people that are of age, when it comes to dealing with the young people, is they try to deal with the young people like they were dealt with back then, when things are so different now. As a king, as a man, as a elder, as a visionary, as a leader, what do you feel in regards to how do you feel you can get with our children, even at your age, to make a difference without running them away? Because what I see is a lot of people try to use old tactics to deal with new things. And the new things is back then, a lot of the things that were happening they were just brushed under the carpet. Everything was kept quiet. Now these children are more radical and they're talking and they're letting people know their truth. What can we do as older people or seasoned people to be able to deal with these children and still draw them in instead of pushing them away?
Well, we have to get, first of all, we have to get honest with ourselves and things that we don't know. And just like a lot of people, I'm not a technological, I always say myself, I don't like the technology and stuff, but there's so much information, things that we need to really, especially the elder people, the seniors. And I was doing like tutoring in schools until they defunded it last year. And I enjoyed doing it so much. I got so much out of it. The kids were, you could just see the difference. You could just see the difference. Because here I am, a black man, and I can talk to these 14, 15, 16-year-old kids about everything and anything. They don't scare me when they come at me.
Because you placed yourself as an elder, but you also try to relate. Relationship is everything. Absolutely. Because if you can't relate to somebody younger than you, then how are you going to be a leader that they follow?
They'll reject you.
That's just like me. I don't want no pastor preaching to me that ain't never been through nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's at the mosque, at the synagogue. If you ain't never been through nothing, don't come to me and try to preach about me when you have no clue of the things that I've been through. Or if you haven't went through something that you can relate to, a tragedy or something that you've been through in life that you can say, you know what, I can, even though I may not have been through that particular thing, I've been through some things that make me understand who you are and the things that you're going through. Sure. So what can we do as a people, as a seasoned people, to become more productive in our communities, in our neighborhoods, even in our businesses, that to become more productive as leaders, as people that we see the Black Panthers, the movie, you see the image, right? What can we do to really play the role of that image? Forget the costume, but what can we really do?
Get them involved in the history and do a lot of research and just find out truth from history, because you ain't going to get it from the images. You got to get the truth. And in order to get the truth, you got to dig deep and get the research. Do the research and get the answers and go from there. You got to want this. You got to desire to want to know more. We just not image what the movie projected to us. We're not just about that. We go way back, further back. We was the greatest of all.
Yes, ma'am.
We created, we started history. We are the creations. The first and the original peoples, the Black peoples are. So if you want to, just want to look at it one way, you ain't going to get, that's not going to work for us. If that way it's not going to, just from the movie.
And I said, okay, so when I received my award for the American Foot Soldier Civil Rights Award, I said, Dr. Martin Luther King had a dream, but God gave me a vision.
Right.
The dream is that all people come together.
Exactly.
The vision is how to make it happen. In order for that to happen, we have to deal with home first. Yeah. When we think about home, we got to think about our families and our communities and the things that are so related and connected to us individually as well as physically. So when it comes to our people, we have to start handling our people with care. And because a lot of us have been hurt, and a lot of us have been doing, going through things. And then we don't know how to deal with other people because hurt people hurt people. Right. So as an elder, as a matriarch, someone that's older, that has been through things in life, ending this interview today, what would you suggest to other people your age as far as dealing with not only kids, but even people in my age group? Because I'm 44 and our age group was the partying, the baby bumpers, having all of the kids at teenage years and all that. And then we have children, then they have children. So we have to get back to our elders, my elders, you and Mr. Price, pouring back into me where I may have missed the mark. You see what I'm saying? What would you suggest to a parent like me that has 6 children, that that's having children, to still be proactive and productive in my children's lives, even though they're quote unquote of age according to the law?
Well, one thing I would say from the outset is just the things that you're doing, Dr. Harris, is the kind of things that our kids, younger people, need to see us doing. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes, like you said, some people will stab you in the back. Some people won't do exactly what they're supposed to do. But when our young people see us as adults struggling, trying to do what is right, trying to give them a good idea of how they should look as they go forward in their lives, just not party, have fun, but listen, take care of that business.
Right. So basically, get your principles and morals right.
Absolutely.
Stay focused.
Stay focused.
That comes from us.
Yes, ma'am. So, and Mr. Thomas, because you've done a lot, and I really like I like you, and I like you because I do research on people, so I go back and look after it and see what somebody has done.
Sure.
And a lot of times when people don't talk about what they've done and they just continue to do what they do, those are the people that are the most productive in other people's lives, because they take away the I and say, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? To help you. So now it becomes an us thing. In building those blocks, especially in the streets of New York, what has been your most challenge, and then what has been your strength?
Oh, well, my strength, I'll go there first, because my strength is because I was raised up in a mother who loved God and who was a church-going person, and she gave me good morals, and the streets of New York, and as an entertainer and doing what they do, that gave me another side of life as well. And I just had to make a decision, how far do you go? Are you gonna go all the way until you destruct yourself, or are you gonna just turn around and get in the narrow path? God says it's narrow path, the path of unrighteousness is wide, but the path of righteousness is narrow.
Very narrow.
So you have to. Yeah, so I was able to really just plug into that. And I give a lot of credit to Mrs. Renfroe, because she explained to me when I was very sick last year. And she was telling me, instructing me, do your Bible. And I'm like, do my Bible? I want to get well.
Right. But, sometimes it takes that instruction and that nurturing and that spirituality of a woman to pour into even a strong man, because sometimes you can be strong, but when you're going through things, that strength is challenged, even mentally. And so, Miss Ann, if you could say to anybody out there in this world about your book, Transitioning Soul Cries of Troubled Hearts, what is it? What's the message that you want to leave to our people?
Well, in one of my encounters, the ancestors came to me and gave me instruction, and one of the things that was given was that we, as Black people, was going to know the truth. We will know, because God was going to see to it. So
Amen.
You got to know the truth.
And gotta know the truth.
Seek the light, and you'll find that's truth.
And the thing is that you have to seek the light within, because God lives within all of us, but a lot of people don't understand that.
Yes, that's where He's at.
We have a choice. There's a little birdie on his shoulder to tell you to do the wrong thing, and then there's one on that shoulder to say, you know what, no matter what that birdie say, I am the master, and I'm the master of your soul, and you got to do what I tell you to do.
Right.
And so it's been a joy to have you here. I am so happy to finally meet you in person. And Mr. Thomas Price, I am so glad that you guys took time out of your day to come in and do this interview. I know that in July, I hope that, I don't know what your schedule is like, Mr. Price and Ms. Renfroe, but I know that in July, I would love to bring you guys together as a team to speak on something at the Black I Am Awards.
Okay, I would love to.
I don't see why that shouldn't be able to happen.
And then, ending in this interview, I just want to ask you. I want you to take one of these rocks, and I want you to take one of these rocks. Sorry, pass it down. And I'm going to take a rock, and this is compliments of Terry T. Love Coleman, who has Spoken Sounds of Soul on Wednesdays here on my station. She brought these rocks, and she does this, and it's very, very important. And so what I want you to do, there's a word on your rock. Whatever your word is, I want you to give a positive affirmation about that word to our people.
Courage. Strength. Because coming here, I asked God to give me strength, and I made it through. But I had to have that courage. And the Anna person, the Anna boys, asked me, why are you so afraid? You know, I was.
You see how that word came back to you out of all of the rocks? You got courage. You were so nervous about doing this, but at the end of the day,
but the breakthrough, me coming, the closer I got to Atlanta, the better I began to feel. You know, and I'm saying, why am I so afraid? I shouldn't be this way. And God said, just think of you doing this for me. You're talking about the book that I inspired you to write.
Exactly.
And that's when I broke through. And I call you today, right? Because I felt courage. I felt strong.
Yes, you know,
like I can do it. I'm ready for the world.
And you are. And the thing is that you see what you've done this far is you spoke through your book, but God is getting ready to, you know, that's not going to be the end of that. It's time for you to go in and start opening your mouth. Just like you wrote this book. Right. So God is telling you, take that courage and become who I really created you to be. And Mr. Price, what is your word?
Okay, my word is what my word is what everybody is really asking for.
Oh my God, my favorite word.
They're asking for peace. Peace in the world, peace in their life, and peace in their minds. And also the peace that God also spoke of is that shod your feet with the peace, and that means to wherever you walk, you go in peace, and you try to love each other and love other people, and then you're not going to try to destroy anybody. You're going to have peace, and if you exuberate that from yourself, everybody else will see it, and most of the time they will see it and they gravitate to it. They might not want to.
They can feel it,
but they feel that peace, and it's not a hard thing to do. It's just it's a great thing to do.
Just living in it, huh?
Absolutely.
And we can't have love if we don't have peace. You gotta get the peace before you can have really love.
Because the peace surpasses all understanding. Yes. And then my word that for today is strength. And I want to say, the joy of the Lord is my strength. God is my strength made perfect in my weakness. Not that I won't have weak moments, but when I do have those weak moments, I have to understand who I need to place my care in. And that is the joy of God. You know, at the end of the day, when God has something in store for you, weapons are going to come. But he just promised that they wouldn't prosper. And in the midst of your weapons not prospering, you have to have a strength that understands that you have to go to God about these weapons, because the battle is really not ours anyway. It's God's battle. So strength to me is understanding and developing a personal relationship with your Creator. It's very, very important. Because if not, then the things of this world, what causes us to be weak, will take control of us and not allow for us to be the people that God has created us to be. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to Dr. Harris Live and Friends. I thank you, Ms. Renfroe, for coming out, Mr. Price for coming out. I love you guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I really, 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 really need your help, you know, to carry out the mission of the rebirth of the Black nation. And anything that you can do, any people that you know, this is going to be a yearly thing for the Black People Unity Festival and the Black I Am Awards. So even if someone don't get awarded this time, right, that doesn't mean that they don't have the award for the next year. But I do want to, you know, I do want you to be involved in helping create this thing so that we all can prosper from it at the end result. Unity is key. Love is God and God is love. Thank y'all so much, and enjoy your day. It is Saturday. We got a birthday party going here on at BPU Top Media. A little 1-year-old king, y'all. Y'all should see the decorations and all of that stuff. But don't forget, July 21st and July 22nd, the Black People Unity Festival and the Black I Am Awards. This week, I will announce the locations, and I'm excited about that. Y'all pray with me now, because I approached the president at Morehouse to have the award show at Morehouse. Why? Because Morehouse is a Black college that educates Black men. And we need to understand that our Black educated men are the catalyst of our power. So we have to start, you know, embracing the things that mean the most. And if we have a lot of young Black men that are catering to, you know, something that we're doing, then all it does is it brings the strength that we need in order to keep on keeping on. Thank you so much, y'all. And we will end with a Sister Sledge song as
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Ooh, sorry. Yeah. So y'all's mics are off. Y'all can talk.
Peace and love. You sure? We still put the stone back in your.
Oh, look at her. She's trying to keep it. This thing, you know, I'm so comfortable. I'm gonna have to get you some of these stones and send them to you. They're very, yeah, I'll do that. Just give me your address and I'll send you some, because they're not expensive at all.
Oh, where did you buy them from?
I think she bought them from a dollar store. I'm not sure. They have them, but I know that we have them all in our sinks.
Don't have no right.
You know, we have them all in our sinks in our bathroom. So what it does is we put them in the bathroom sinks, and then you know, it stops stuff from going down in the sink that's not supposed to. But then when you go walk in the bathroom, you see peace, you see love, you see joy, you see strength. You see, when you're washing your hands, you're washing your hands to all of those things. So yeah, so you know, I'm gonna get you a couple of them and just send them to you, and then you can spread them all over the house or whatever you want to do.
We see them on TV.
No, I mean we are, but you know they can't.
They can't see us.
They can see us.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Okay, we're ending it now. All right.
Oh, that was